I really did not know what I was doing. So I've had to learn along the way. And I started out in the toy trade. I used to sell to mums and grandparents, and I did actually finish off by, when I finished that side of business, I finished off selling to the mums that had become the grandparents. So we'd gone into generational, and we'd seen the children grow up and then start to have their own children. So that was a lovely period of time. And I went from retailing to domestic mums and dads to wholesale and then international distributor. And I did become the international distributor for Radio Flyer. Now, there were plenty of opportunities along the way, and I am going to talk to you about how the LinkedIn Local came about. But there were opportunities that we saw all over the place, and it is about working your way up, recognizing the opportunities that come your way. I did used to work with the top high street buyers. I did used to import, export containers from all over the world and go to all the big exhibitions. And I have, on my own stand, had the top buyers play sword fights. You won't believe it, but really in the toy trade, people do funny things. And I've had the very top buyers having sword fights with my fancy dress swords and shields in the aisles by my stands, which is great fun and a very fond memory, I must admit. And we sold to castles. The most unusual things used to happen as we went along. And we did. The ladies used to come to our stand and say to us, I've got a castle. And I didn't know we had so many castles in the UK until I got the range of fancy dress that I did. So recognizing the opportunities we say, can you recognize them? However, you know, you've got to draw those opportunities to you. And being in communication with people, talking to people, being yourself is the way that it will come into you, the way that you can, people like talking to you. If they like you, know you and trust you, these opportunities will come your way. And it's having the confidence to say yes. Now there's many, many stories about this. And one of them that stands to mind, that comes to mind, is the one that we were in one of the buyer's offices, and he said, I really love this fancy dress, swords and shields. Now we need to launch it in the store. What can we do? And I flippantly said, we'll have a children's medieval banquet. What do you think? And he picked up the phone and he said, just bear with me, I'll just check my catering manager. And we ended up having a children's banqueting party in their restaurant. They closed their restaurant for the afternoon and the children were invited to come. There was all sorts of games and things going on, and they had their banquet. And what was amazing was their marketing team came from nowhere. We had all of our stock. They came from nowhere and they said, Jill, come with us. And they literally ran around the store, picking up bits and pieces, props that they could use, and they decked out this restaurant. So it was the full works, and the children came in and they were absolutely, you know, wide-eyed, where they were so impressed with what was going on and so excited. And of course the mums loved it as well. So that was one opportunity, and that's the sort of thing that happens when you really get on with the people that you're selling to. So how did LinkedIn Local start? LinkedIn Local is a networking group. It's a movement. They called it a movement, and it started in Australia. And it was an idea that came from just one person. She was very well known, or she had a lot of connections on LinkedIn. But she wanted to turn those connections into real life friends. And she toyed around with that idea for a few years, and she decided in the end that she would just invite a group of people from the connections that she had on LinkedIn to an evening, a meeting. And out of that meeting, only 15 people turned up. but they had a lovely time. And it was easy because they were connections. They already had that know and that like-ish. So they weren't complete strangers. And the meeting, the evening, went down so well that those 15 people told more people. And those 15 people told more. And before she could stop it, it had started to spread. She called it LinkedIn Local with a hashtag. And that hashtag ran for years. It's the longest running hashtag and the most popular hashtag that LinkedIn has ever known. And this particular networking group grew because there was a team of people that got behind it. Now, these people were not employees. They were volunteers that just saw the benefit of having the ability to get to know the people that were behind their connections, people that they'd never met, but perhaps they'd been talking to or commenting on LinkedIn. So we're thinking about Australia. Now that went to a global business. It grew to just under 100,000 members, with 100,000 members with 1,000 hosts. And I was in at almost the very beginning of it. The teamwork that grew out of this was amazing. And I did think, as I was watching it grow, I thought that the LinkedIn influencers, the LinkedIn trainers would get on board, and they did because they saw the value. However, it wasn't only the LinkedIn trainers and influencers. I got to know people that were completely outside those categories, that sort of profession. So I was beginning to meet up with people in different towns, different cities, and they were VAs, they were coaches, they were marketing people. Marketing people were great because we knew how to market it, and we knew how to expand and extend this, promote this particular group. We started sharing and mentoring different people. People would ask us questions. Every time that hashtag was used on LinkedIn to promote a new event, everybody helped. So it was a complete team work, a team spirit that went on. It was very simple, the very simple thing that they wanted to do. There was no rules or anything other than it had to comply with, there were certain things that you couldn't do because of course it was LinkedIn, you had to comply with different things on the legal side of it. However, they didn't have any, they weren't worried about what you were doing in the meetings. You could meet in different areas, different times, charge different fees. You could promote differently. You could get hotels to sponsor the event, or you could charge for the event. It was simply the case of gathering your connections, inviting them along to a meeting, and putting that social back into social media just to meet the people behind the profiles. Now, I've met people before behind the profiles on 1 or 2 occasions, and I did find it strange to begin with. However, it is so easy when you have been working with them or you've been commenting on their posts for maybe a year, or maybe you've just got to know them because they've invited you to connect. So we did see it spread, and it was growing and growing, and the stories and the experiences that we were hearing about, it's almost an explosion of groups that were going on, that were being founded as we went through those coming years. Now, the lady that started it was Anna McAfee. And again, she started this hashtag, and it was really the case of how a hashtag can work. Now, this is a tip for people. when you go to write your post in LinkedIn, don't ever put more than 3 hashtags. And the reason for that is LinkedIn penalise you if you put more than 3. 1, 2 or 3 hashtags under your posts are perfectly okay. If you put 4 up and extend it out, you know, like you would do in Instagram, for instance, they tend to not extend your post to the sort of reach that maybe they would have done if you'd have just had 3. Now, I work with LinkedIn trainers and they said to me before, Jill, don't do that. Don't put 4 in, don't put 5 in, limit it to 3. And the other tip is, if you want to find your posts, put your company name as a hashtag or yourself. And then you just search on yourself or your company name and up will come all your posts. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I will write a post and then I'm scrolling down trying to find it in my profile. And all I really need to do is actually pop up my hashtag in and up it will all come. So the comment, like I said, it started with 15 people. However, people around the world slowly got to know about it. When I say slowly, actually quite fast, they got to know about it. And there was 4 more people that joined Anna in founding LinkedIn Local, and they were spread across the world. The downside of something growing so quickly, as all of us know, is it gets out of control. And if you haven't got processes and systems in place, it becomes unruly and it doesn't work so well. And this is exactly what happened at the very beginning. And Anna, by her own admission, will say, you know, it got out of control because it was growing so quickly. And they had to scrabble around to get these systems and processes in place to be able to help people and also sort out the branding. And to begin with, there was nothing like that because it took us all by surprise. But they did it. To their credit, they did it. They sorted it all out and it all started to come through and we were able to have something to work on, but it was still very flexible in the way that you could run your own groups as you wanted to. Now, when it came to me, I actually nearly missed this opportunity. When I say it was a one chance post and it could have easily been missed, it really was. If I hadn't have gone onto LinkedIn at that particular time, scrolling down, I saw a post. I didn't know the person. She was a connection of a connection. The reason I stopped, and this is a stupid reason, the reason I stopped is she mentioned where she lived in Australia. She happened to live in the same town as my friends had just emigrated to. And that was the only reason I stopped to read the post. You never know what is going to catch people's attention. She'd used different keywords. Some of them were working, some of them wasn't. It was the actual town that stopped me in my tracks because I thought, oh, hang on a minute. My friends had literally just got there. They'd sailed around the world. They literally had left a couple of years beforehand from this country and they just got to her particular town. So I stopped and read it. And then I read it again and I looked at it and I thought, this could be something really big. And I messaged her on LinkedIn and said, you know, I'm interested in this. Are you spreading, are you looking for more groups? You know, how is this going to work? And back came the message, thank you for your interest, Jill. We're not really sure how this is going to work. This is growing really very quickly. Now I'm talking about probably 4 months after she'd started. And I got together with another lady and we started the group. And I have to admit that on the first meeting, I'd done some marketing, I'd gathered people in. We had about 20 people turn up. And they came in, they said, how's this going to work? And I said, I don't really know. I've got no guidelines, I don't know what I'm doing. We all know each other. The aim is that we're all connections, and we get to know each other better. So let's just see how it goes. Well, that was 3 years ago, and we're still seeing how it goes. But the opportunities that have come out of this networking group, and groups all the way across the world, are enormous. Now, I was used to going to networking groups where, to my annoyance at times, when somebody stood up and did their 60 seconds, you know, you'd get people scrolling through their phones and not really taking any notice. And I have never seen this at a LinkedIn local, because people are keen to talk. They're keen to meet up. They're keen to do referrals and introduce people to each other. So I'm not saying to you that you should go off and start a networking group at all. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is how quickly things can grow when you have teams behind you. It is an opportunity. If you do have one in your town, go along and have a look at it and see what it's like. We have all sorts of things that happen in ours. I've changed it as we've gone along, because I've just noticed that, you know, perhaps we swap it around a bit. And of course, now we're online, it's a different thing entirely. However, at the very beginning there, because I was smaller, there was only a small number of us, I did end up having people that would come and visit our group, and then I'd mentor them or I'd advise them on how to start the next one, but always leaving that caveat that it is up to you how you want to run it. Now, the good side of it, another positive side, is that it's always about supporting charities. So it is a non-for-profit networking group, but we've always had that bit in the background about choosing charities and how we support them. And the sizes of the groups vary as well. Some people will only have, say, 10 people turn up. This is when we were meeting face to face. And other people would be sold out at 120 and they were on the waiting list. Now you can imagine if they are charging £10, £15 a time, and they've got 120 coming along, and they've got the place sponsored, and the charities were doing quite well through LinkedIn Local. And I don't know the amount that was donated to the charities from this particular networking movement. However, it was a lot of money. And at each meeting, and I haven't found this, I have found this on all of the ones that I visited, was that there was always skills being taught. There was always introductions being made, friendships, that know, like and trust came along very easily. It was always very informal and relaxed. And what we've started doing lately is we've had speakers that have come along, professional speakers, well used to speaking, but what we've started doing is we've started introducing budding speakers where they're not used to talking. And instead of saying, right, you've got 30 minutes or you've got 20 minutes, we said, do you want to come along and just do 5 or 10 minutes? And they like that because it's small enough for them not to worry about. Now, we've had some surprising outcomes ourselves, our own business. We get quite a lot of business from running a LinkedIn Local. And we've had invitations to speak on an international basis, but we visit different ones. We talk about it. We teach what's going on. We teach the way things can be. And we've been invited to write, and we've even designed our own website, and we now have a membership website. Now, up until we started on this, I'd never done a membership website. Now, we design and create bespoke websites, but I'd never sorted out a membership website. So this was something new for us, but it means that we've got income drip feeding into the coffers, as it were, because we now know how to set up membership websites. There's pluses all the way around, but what I would say, as with everything, is that if you're going to do anything like this, build it slowly, and pop some processes. And we were talking, I know that Janet and Joe have all been talking about this, the processes and systems pop in place, because without those it becomes rather a scramble. The systems that we used to promote we used WhatsApp, we used Facebook Messenger and LinkedIn Messenger. We used Slack. I don't know if you know Slack, but we use Slack a lot. And we were increasing with the feedback and the recommendations, testimonials, reviews. At each meeting, we would compliment and congratulate people on their meetings. And the word was spreading a lot, but what it did was it gave LinkedIn Local credibility, authority that you can see in this slide, that know, like and trust got built and the social proof increased. What we didn't realise was the knock-on effect was that we ourselves were gaining that as well. And that was rather a surprise, because as a marketeer, we tend to spend our lives marketing other people's businesses and not a lot about our own. So this was an added benefit for ourselves as well. I'm going to give you a few tips on LinkedIn Local and businesses in general. And I've sort of zipped past this. I'm sure I've missed out quite a bit as we've gone along. However, this I do know is that there are many things that you can do to help your businesses, and checking up that how you show up and where your businesses are they visible, is something that you can do on a regular basis. Regularly check out your social proof, your social worth. For myself, I'm known by a few names, believe it or not. I'm Gill Fountain or I'm Gillian Fountain. I've got a couple of different spellings on my business, sadly. So just if you have got different ways of spelling your name or your business, check those out on Google and see how you're turning up. The reason being there is at every networking event that I go to, I usually start any talks trying to get people to go on their phones and check how they are seen online. And I can tell you now that there's never been an occasion where somebody has said, hang on a minute, that's not right. My phone number's not right. My address isn't right. No, I thought I'd done this. You know, there's something always that is not correct. So do check your social worth, your social proof. Did you know that there are ways to find out how many connections you've actually got on LinkedIn? I'll go into that in a moment. So I'll stop sharing and go onto my live account and I'll show you how to do that. Now you may only have, when I say only, it's quite a lot. You may have, say, 2,000 connections online on LinkedIn. However, with your first and your second connections, that can add up to a sizable amount. And it could be 500,000 that you've actually got. So I'll show you in a moment how you can see that number. And if you consider that that is the number that you can reach by regularly adding comments to your LinkedIn posts, then commenting on other people's posts and adding your posts, then that's an amazing amount to be able to reach out to. The other thing we found out was because our connections were growing all the time, we had to work on our LinkedIn profile. By working on our LinkedIn profile, we could attract better clients. We could attract the people that we wanted to attract. And it really honed in the fact that we had perhaps missed out on that particular area in the past. So working with LinkedIn and LinkedIn Local made us look at our profiles yet again. I'm going to stop this share for a moment. And I'm going to show you just how you can get those. Let me see if I can do this. Bear with me whilst I have a little play. and I will show you how you can get those connections, because it is interesting. Bear with me, I'm just going to get onto my account. Okay, let's just see. So here we go. Let's just do this one more bit. I'm in my live account now, and you can see this top bar here, and I'm going into my network, and I'm coming across to my connections, and I'm clicking on my connections. And then you can see here, I've got 2,343. I'm looking at this area here. If I go across to search with filters, and I click my first, but then my second, so these are the people that you can be connected to, and click apply, my 2,000 odd has now gone up to 701,000 people. That does vary. A couple of weeks ago, I was at 719,000 people. So it's come down a bit, but it fluctuates along the way. But just think, you can talk to your first connections, but you quite often can talk to your second connections as well. And by doing that, you have increased the amount of people that you can talk to on a vast basis. Hang on, bear with me, going back into my screen. And here we are, nearly there. So what I do is I help people to work out and alter their LinkedIn profiles to get it up to date. I call it my 5 steps to develop an A+ LinkedIn profile. And it is one of the things that I am going to offer to you, because although I do charge for it, you can see instant results. It's a webinar that I offer to you free of charge this time. And it's usually about an hour, and half of it's live and half of it's a webinar. And we have questions and answers afterwards. And it has been known that some people have joined me and they've said to me, hang on a minute, Jill, slow down a bit, because I'm actually altering this whilst you're talking. So it's something that you can do, and you will see instant results as you finish. You'll see that you've got an up-to-date professional LinkedIn profile, and we work it so that it's done to attract more people to you. So thank you very much, everyone. I am a little bit under my 45 minutes, and I am sure that I missed something else out there, Hayley, but never mind. My website is here. I do a 30-minute talk with me, just like Joe did, and I have got a Facebook group, Building Tomorrow Today with 38 Partnership. If you do want to join me inside there or join me on a 30-minute talk, I would love to be able to talk to you and connect with you along the way. It's been an absolute delight talking to you all today, and what a fantastic summit. Hayley, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jill. That has been amazing.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Jill?
Oh, thank you for your comments, everyone. I couldn't see any of that whilst I was talking. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Leslie. Hi. Great.
Oh, hi, Leslie.
Hi, Annie. So let me ask you, do you have a program, a way to, or a workshop, anything that would have us work with you on the basics of LinkedIn? If we're not savvy, but we'd really like to get into it, do you have a way that we can do just that? I know that you're a digital agency, but I would love to be able to focus only on LinkedIn, and I wasn't sure if you had that.
Ah, yes, I have. Marketing Diamonds is a workshop that I do, and I used to do it on a monthly basis, but monthly doesn't really work with people these days because, you know, we're all online. And so I'm bringing it forward to a weekly basis where we can work on it and dedicate ourselves to that side of things.
So that's Marketing Diamonds?
Marketing Diamonds, yes. I can pop the link in.
Okay, and the fee is what size diamond to get in? Thank you.
I will send you some details.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tasha is asking, when is the free webinar?
Oh, let me get the link. Let me get the link. I've set up 3. I'll get you the Eventbrite link and pop it in the post here we are.
Thank you, Gillian. The other question that I had, as you were talking about looking yourself up, Googling yourself and being mindful and knowing what people are seeing, this actually happened with Haley the other day because I realized that she had taken down a very old website of me, but then I looked in the search and it's on the top page when you look up my name. So my business is, if I looked up my business name, then it's front page, but I want my personal name to be associated with that. Is there a tip that you have that would help with SEO or something along those lines that you would recommend?
Is it so you want your new website to be associated with your name? Is that it?
Yes, I would just prefer that people see that as opposed to seeing my very, very old.
Oh yes, it is all to do with the back end of the website and SEO. But what we do say to people is check that you've got your analytics, your Google Analytics enabled. So there's lots of things that you can do to your website to get it further up the search engines. But the common error that we see is that people haven't enabled their Google Analytics on the back end of their website.
Okay.
If you can do that, then it gives you a fighting chance of getting further up the search engines. But there's quite a lot that you can do. And there's quite a lot that people do miss as well, as Haley will back me up on this one. There's lots of things that people do miss. But I would look at your Google Analytics on your new website and see where it is.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Talk to your web designer about the search engine optimization.
Very cool.
Yes.
Jennifer asks, how do you do a workshop or how to do a video or webinar presentation on LinkedIn?
We set this up as a PDF, and it takes me about 3 minutes to set it up. I can get it up. I have it on my desktop, to be honest. I go into Zoom, I invite people into the Zoom meeting. I pop this up, I pop up something just very similar to what you've seen today. And we work our way through the course, the webinar. And I can stop and start it as I want to.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Jill?
I think a lot of people, and this question gets asked for me a lot of people are saying when they want to do courses or webinars, they're talking about, is it Teachable? There's a few ones, isn't there, that you can use, but in actual fact, sometimes it costs quite a lot of money, and to be honest, this has just cost us pence because it's PDF, it's slide by slide. You can do it on I think you can do it in Canva now. I think you can do it, I know you can do it in Spark, Adobe Spark, and literally I download it onto my desktop and I run it. I have got a graphic designer upstairs in his office working for me though. So, the graphics that you see on there are the ones that we've done in-house.
He's very talented.
He's very good. Yes, thank you.
So, any more questions for Gill?
I've popped the link of the 5 steps to develop an A+ LinkedIn profile in there. Like I say, I've set up 3 meetings, three webinars. All 3 of them are free at the moment, and they go into November as well. Oh, well done, Cara. Cara's already set up for October, the next one in October.
Yay!
I have had, Halia, you might be interested. I have had over the last couple of days, people signing up for that particular one because it's in the freebies.
There you go.
Yeah, it's working.
Cool. Yeah, love it. So take advantage of that free training.
Thank you, Jennifer. I look forward to seeing you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.